So what if I told you that the most famous book ever written about war isn't really about war at all? For centuries, Sun Tzu's The Art of War has been the ultimate playbook for any kind of conflict, but its biggest secret isn't how to fight, it's actually how to win without ever having to throw a single punch.
You know, for ages, this book has been seen as the definitive guide to just crushing your opponents. You see business execs and generals treating it like a manual for ruthless, take-no-prisoners aggression. It's the book you pick up when you want to dominate. Or is it?
And right there, from the man himself, Sun Tzu just flips the entire script. The whole philosophy isn't about diving into conflict, it's about the avoidance of it. It's not about fighting, it's about having a strategy so airtight that fighting becomes totally unnecessary. Which, of course, raises a huge question: how on earth is that even possible?
To really get this, we have to completely redefine what victory actually means. See, it's not about destroying the other guy, it's about subduing them.
This brings us to a core idea he calls supreme excellence. Look, Sun Tzu basically argues that anyone can win a fight with brute force. That's the easy path. The true master, the real strategic genius, is the person who can make their opponent just give up or change their mind before a single blow is ever struck. That is the highest form of skill imaginable.
There's this fantastic old story about a family of healers that just illustrates this perfectly. Someone asked the most famous doctor in the family who the best healer was, and he said it wasn't him. He said his brother who cured small sicknesses was better, but the absolute best, that was his eldest brother, who could see a disease before it even started and prevent it entirely. Sun Tzu's philosophy is exactly the same. The greatest general is the one who prevents the war from ever happening.
So how do you actually do this? I mean, this whole idea of preventing conflict, it isn't some kind of magic. It's the result of really rigorous, systematic analysis. It's about knowing the battlefield so well that you don't even have to step onto it.
Before you make a single move, Sun Tzu demands a deep, deep assessment. The battle, he says, is won or lost long before the armies ever meet. It's won in the planning phase, by calculating every single variable you can think of.
And he lays out 5 key factors for this. First, the way. Are your people, your team, totally aligned with your cause? Think of a startup with a crystal clear mission. Then you've got climate and terrain. These are the external things you can't control, but you have to adapt to, like market trends. And finally, leadership and discipline. Your own internal strengths, your organization, your resolve. By analyzing these 5 points for both yourself and your opponent, you can predict the outcome with almost scary accuracy.
All right, now we're getting to one of the most famous parts of the book. And, maybe one of the most misinterpreted. When people hear the word deception, they immediately think of something negative, right? Something dishonest. But Sun Tzu's idea of deception is way more sophisticated than that. It's not about telling crude lies. It's a powerful psychological tool. It's all about shaping your opponent's reality, making them see what you want them to see, and move where you want them to move. You're controlling the narrative.
And the examples he gives are just brilliant. It's all about creating a false reality for your opponent. If you're strong, you act weak to draw them into a trap. If you're far away, you make it seem like you're close, so they waste their energy preparing for an attack that isn't coming. You're literally playing chess with their mind.
In the end, it all boils down to one thing: making your opponent misjudge the situation. Because if they miscalculate, they're going to make mistakes. And when they make mistakes, you gain the advantage without ever having to risk a direct head-to-head fight.
Okay, this right here brings us to the absolute heart of Sun Tzu's philosophy. This is the principle that ties everything we've just talked about together. And it's probably one of the most famous strategic statements ever written. Because if you can master this one concept, you create a situation where it is literally impossible for you to lose. You become truly, genuinely invincible.
I mean, just let that sink in for a second. It's such a powerful line. It's not just a clever saying, it's a formula. And notice what he says. He doesn't say you'll win 100 battles. He says you need not fear the result. Why? Because you'll already know the outcome before it even begins. So let's break that down. Knowing yourself, your limits, your resources, your weaknesses, that's a defensive move. It's what makes you undefeatable because you can protect yourself. But knowing your enemy, their ego, their blind spots, their habits, that's where victory comes from. That knowledge is your real weapon.
So, let's get real. Why does a 2,500-year-old book on military strategy still matter so much to us today? Well, it's because the battlefield has changed, but the fundamental principles of conflict, they haven't.
The ideas in the art of war apply to any situation where goals clash. Your battlefield might be a high-stakes boardroom, a tense negotiation, or shoot, even just a difficult conversation with someone you care about.
Seriously, think about it. In a business deal, if you know your competitor's weaknesses and your own absolute bottom line, you can shape the outcome before you even sit down. Thinking about a career change? You've got to assess the industry terrain to find the path of least resistance. And even in a simple argument, isn't the real win finding a resolution where nobody feels defeated? That right there is winning without fighting.
This quote just nails it. It summarizes everything perfectly. Victory isn't something that happens during the battle. It's the result of superior preparation and analysis and positioning. The fight itself, that's just the final confirmation of who did their homework better.
So the next time you face a challenge, a disagreement, any kind of competition, ask yourself this simple question. Are you just rushing into the fight and hoping for the best? Or are you going to apply that supreme excellence of Sun Tzu to arrange things so perfectly that the conflict just dissolves and you've already won before it even begins?